We were going to talk about this yesterday, but we didn't have time.
I'm going to talk about Nikki Haley.
Because of what she said, it's controversial.
This is very controversial. Some of y'all might even pull my black card after this.
I mean, there's truth to it, but it's how you say it,
and it's
how
who
you
said
deliver it. Exactly.
She said it, but she didn't say it.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go with what happened, because I don't want to start talking without them showing. Somebody asked Nikki Haley about the Civil War, and this is her response.
United States Civil War.
Well, don't come with an easy question or anything. I mean, I think the cause of the Civil War was basically how government was going to run, the freedoms and what people could and couldn't do. What do you think the cause of the Civil War was? I'm sorry?
TikTok, if y'all want to see what we watching, go on YouTube.
I mean, I think it always comes down to the role of government.
The Woods Report.
What do you want me to say about slavery? Next question.
All right.
I mean, look.
Your answer should have had some kind of slavery answer in it.
Yes.
That's what we wanted you to say.
Now, Nikki Haley doesn't mention slavery when asked what caused the Civil War. This is my controversial statement. If the question was asked, what caused the Civil War, I feel like you can answer that in many different ways.
Okay.
Okay?
Because it was not just one thing that caused.
The underlining, they all point back to slavery.
It all does.
Whatever way you want to slice up the pie, whether you want to talk about economics or one state wasn't getting along with the other state, or they wanted to be free from the federal, or they don't want nobody telling them what to do.
Exactly.
And all roads point back to slavery.
Okay.
All right, we all got that.
It touches some kind of way.
But if you was to ask somebody, let's look at it today. What caused the war between Israel and Gaza? Somebody would say, oh, well, it's when Hamas came over there on October and did. That's not really.
It's very a lot.
There was stuff way before that.
Yeah. Yeah, relationships, territory.
There was fighting,
government,
and disappropriation,
leadership.
I don't like you. You got your foot on my neck.
Tell us what to do.
There's a whole lot.
This land is your land. This land is my land.
Right. So there's a whole lot that came before that.
Yeah.
So I feel like that was a set. Number one, I feel like that was a setup question.
That was a setup question.
It came from the Biden team, allegedly, which I believe.
Yeah.
And it points to what I told y'all. Mm-hmm. In 2024, y'all keep thinking this is good old neighborhood Biden. He gonna come out, I'm telling y'all, in 2024.
He gonna come out with gloves?
It's going to be something either major with the country,
or to
whether
show
it's another COVID,
being strong as a leader,
either another COVID or another war or something, or he's hiding something in his pocket on Trump,
waiting for waiting for the timing.
I don't need to release it now because it's too soon. But when 2024 comes. And I think that's what's making even Trump nervous, because he knows, as much of a hustler I am, Biden's way better at it than I am.
You think he's a better hustler than Trump?
Trump is a moron.
But Trump is a street hustler.
He's a moron. A street hustler is not as good as the people at the top, the government, and the people who control the streets. He's an old street hustler.
Still trying to hang in there.
And Biden is like, dude, I've been playing this game when you was still talking to your dad about building or locking black people out of apartment buildings.
Trump Towers.
No, his father with the building.
Oh, yeah.
Kicking black people out and not letting them stay in the buildings.
Yeah.
Dude, I've been playing this game way before you.
Okay.
So when it comes to knowing how to play the game, I'm there.
Where you think?
I think Nikki Haley is playing the game.
When you say some of your view or sharing your view about that question could be controversial.
Yes.
Depending on who's listening to you.
Yes, depending on who's listening.
Okay.
Now, to play the game, if you ask me, what was the Civil War about? I'm sticking with like I said today, Hamas came over and they terrorized us, and then we kicked back. That's what started it. I'm sticking with the safe answer that everybody is thinking of, and nobody gets mad.
What she said?
She stuck with the safe answer.
Government.
It was about economic freedom, which it was.
Black, white, anybody. Yeah.
She stuck with an answer that is absolutely true, in my opinion.
If you think about it, free the slaves, free the people, and give them opportunity to live in the freedom and get jobs and be taxed and pay taxes.
Yes. The reason why I don't like
our money. You don't care about us.
The reason why I don't like when black people answer that question with slavery is because I feel like it lets the North off the hook. You would like to think everybody was battling over the poor slave, and the North just didn't like it. And they decided no man should be held enslaved. We're going to fight for them, and we're going to go free them, and we're going no.
Did they really care about us even up in the North?
It's always been about money.
Yes.
The North was becoming industrialized. And did you not know this? Because I did a little research on Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln was poor. Poor, what white people would say, poor white trash. Also Republican. Y'all see how history was repeating itself now? Don't ever forget history repeats itself.
Blacks were Republican back then.
Poor white, the slave owners and the people who owned the slaves and the rich people were Democrats. And because they had the slaves. And so Abraham Lincoln was poor white trash is what they would call him today. And he couldn't find a job. He would go places and they would say, why would I hire you when I can get a slave to do exactly what you do?
For no
and
money.
I don't have to pay. I don't have to give him no wage.
It's like even now with free labor.
So he vowed, when I get older, I'm going to fight against slavery. Every man should be on his own to go out and get a job. He didn't believe in giving everybody bootstraps, though. That's the problem that everybody keeps forgetting. He's this wonderful, nice guy who freed the slaves. But nah, if you free the slaves and I don't give you the same, I don't put you on the same playing field, are you really helping me?
I mean, you freed me up, but
you only freed me up, but you freed me up so that you don't have to compete against me.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying something controversial. I know I am. I know I'm going to get hit with a lot of straps, but this is how I feel. And you can put in the comment section if you have something different. Because the reason why I felt like he didn't really have the slaves' best interest, or the North didn't, is because, one, he didn't do the Emancipation Proclamation, which freed the slaves to after the Civil War began.
Thank you.
So if your whole purpose was to free the slaves, you would have gone in with that as your flag. We're going in to free the slaves.
He wanted to free the slaves so he could win the war.
Let's talk about that.
And remember that documentary that I had you guys watch? I think Emerald watched it. There were still some states like New York that allow you to still keep your slaves or keep slavery while you in town.
Well, it changed.
You need a few slaves while you're in New York?
It changed. Let me tell you.
Changed. Okay.
That's in the beginning.
In the beginning.
And then it changed.
I get it.
So that's my thing with that. Then when Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves, he didn't want to integrate them with the rest of society. He actually wanted you to leave. They was trying to send us back to Africa.
Win the war. That's it.
That was it. So a lot of black people, and a lot of people, I don't want to say black people, We got to understand it's about his story. So the word his is in there.
It's his story.
It's his story. And the way that the Civil War is taught in school is taught from the North's perspective, not the South, because the North won. I win. I get to put that in the history book. Now, you have a lot of people.
And I want you to have good reason why I won. Right. I was fighting for y'all.
I was fighting for your freedom. The bottom line is the North was becoming industrialized. They didn't really need slaves. If you got one man who could be on a machine that could do the job of 30, 40, 50 people, what do I need to have a bunch of slaves around? And slaves cost. Think about it. Everybody don't have a farm here. They looked at us as animals. So everybody don't have room and space and time to have a bunch of cows and cattle and stuff. I got to feed you. I got to clothe you. I got to do all of this. If I can find a better way to get everybody working, because there was a lot of people coming over from other countries too. Y'all got to remember that. There was a lot of people coming over to Ellis Island, a lot of foreigners coming over.
Native Americans as well.
Y'all, if y'all don't see history repeating itself with the migrants, just look at Civil War. Then people started being mad because they like, all these people coming over here taking our jobs. We can't work. We can't do that. So, and then you got slavery on top of that. You got people working for free. We want to do this. And so they would tell these states that didn't want to give up their slaves. Think of it this way, y'all. The South was like, think of like Kmart or like a college town or like Walmart. Everybody didn't own a Walmart or everybody didn't attend a college. But when those places come into towns, the whole town runs around it. If you have a college town and that college closes down, all the mom and pop places, everything shuts down because everybody's doing business for that university. Same thing with Walmart. When Walmart comes into these little small towns, all these little mom and pop places close down because everybody goes to Walmart to get everything. That's the same way it was with slavery. So a lot of white people are pissed off because they said, my family didn't own slaves. Why y'all? We didn't own a Walmart back then. It was only a few people that owned a Walmart in South Carolina or Texas or Alabama. But your family benefited from that plantation. Your grandfather bought his corn or his cotton or his whatever from that plantation.
And the sad thing about it is even history, until all of us were free and whatever in the law, they were getting money for their slaves when they would go. If their slave left the plantation, you would get so much money for them. So they were making money off of the slavery as well, as well as what they were doing on their property.
But there was one case, and I'll say this, and we'll move on. In New York, New York started saying that, you know what, it's too much with this person because in the beginning they said you can bring your slave and your slave would still be a slave and other black people was free. New York said any slave that's here is free. But then they started making laws up as it went. So what if I come to New York and I'm from the South and I'm visiting and I got my slaves with me? They free? No. Okay. No, hold on. All right. If you bring your slave, they're not free. Okay. They're still your slave. You take them back with you. Then it started becoming too much with that. So then they said, okay, that's it. If you come to New York, you can't bring no slave. Because any black person here in New York is free.
It's automatically free.
I don't have time. We don't have time to be trying to figure out which one was your mammy and which one was we don't have time for all that. If they black and they here in this state, they're free. So then the Southerners said, okay, well, we just won't go to New York. But they had to travel through New York sometimes to get to places. So then it started to become the black people who was in New York started freeing the slaves. As these people was driving through or going through on the boat, they would hold them up and get the slaves off of there. Come with us. You're free. We want you to know that. So then the slave owners started saying, hey, hold on for a minute. You can't do that. How are we going to get from point A to point B with our slaves? And you got these people coming here. So then they started having lawsuits. And one of the lawsuits was a very famous lawsuit. I think it was Lemon versus the state of Illinois or something like that. And this man said, I had to go from Virginia or somewhere through New York or whatever, which he didn't. He could have went all the way around, but he didn't. And the slaves was taken. Those are my slaves.
I own them.
Property. So then they started saying, okay, he went to court and he lost. They were allowed to keep those slaves were not allowed to be his. So then,
because he was in that territory,
because he was
where
going
they're
through,
considered free.
He was going through. So then he appealed it to a higher court, and they said the same thing. They said, "No, you can't bring a slave through here."
Before the Civil War?
This is before. So all of this was going on in the places that wanted to get away from the Union.
Yeah.
They were saying, okay, that's it.
We don't want to be a part of the Union.
I don't want to be a part of you. You messing with my dollar line. You're messing with my money.
My pocket. Yeah.
Now you got machines and industrial stuff up there. We don't have that here. Our labor and how we make our money is with slaves.
With hands of slaves, built on hands.
So what you trying to do, which I understand what they saying. You don't care about them. You trying to make us stay poor while the North becomes rich and we become old poor hicks down here. Well, that's not going to happen.
Y'all that stupid and lazy.
We want to get out of this.
You can work. You don't need the slave hand to help.
They couldn't because they didn't have the same industrialist. Yeah.
Okay, it had to be built.
So they saying, get me out of here. I don't want to be with y'all. And the union said, no, we got to stay together. We got to keep this thing tight. We can't. Let's figure out a way. No, ain't no way. We are sending in our letter saying we don't want to be part. I hear Texas is thinking about doing that now.
Yeah, there's a few states that are wanting to
I don't like how Biden is allowing thousands of immigrants to come through here. You don't even stop them. You're affecting where I live now. Now I got thousands of immigrants on the street. We got to take care of them. They're homeless. What about the government? What are you going to do? And Biden is saying, well, it's really not affecting us up here the way it's affecting y'all.
But they're getting money for it. Texas is getting money for it. That's what the black guy one of the black politicians from Illinois, he went down there, did his own investigation. He said, Texas is getting financial assistance from the government, not the sanctuary cities. Yes. It's almost like they holding back on purpose.
Yes.
But he's thinking, if y'all getting the money, you can deal with it. You can put them on a bus and send them back to Venezuela. You can put them on a plane and fly them back home.
Yeah.
Why are you putting them up? You're sending them to us because you're trying to make a message.
They're doing what Texas governor is doing. And what DeSantis is doing, as much as we don't like them or whatever, it is making sense. It's easy to sit and pass laws and not do something when it doesn't affect you.
But you know what Illinois is doing? Illinois is putting some laws together where the bus companies, if they don't abide by 5 days or so many days, they have to alert where they're going. They're being the courts are coming against them and they're being fined. And they're being fined for each person on that bus. Bus drivers, it's a certain suburb in Chicago. A bus was on its way there. They backtracked because they were going to get fined. So now bus drivers over these bus companies are being fined.
So what Nikki Haley is doing, she came back later and tried to clean it up and say, we all know that it's about slavery. That was the easy answer. In other words, that's what she's saying. I was trying to tell you what the more complex answer is. We all know that the underlying is slavery.
Yeah, government.
It's slavery. And the rest of it is what we don't talk about.
Exactly.
And again, and I know that's why I said I'm going to get backlash because I like Nikki Haley. I think that's the right answer. Because I think in order to be a president that you don't say I'm for a blue state and I'm for a red state.
Her answer, I felt, covered even the slavery situation in a sense.
Without saying slavery.
Without saying
freedom of people and all this other stuff.
Because in my opinion, because people can look at her answer and go a whole different way, but I felt like it was the underlining reason was to fill the pockets of the government.
Y'all,
whatever way they could do it.
We cannot have a red president and a blue president. If we do, we are headed back to the Civil War. We're headed back. We're already saying red states and blue states. You can have an abortion in one state and cross over the line and go into another state and go to jail. You can carry your gun through one state and cross the line, and if you still got it on you, you can go to jail.
Go to jail because concealed to carry not in that one.
So even though they're not physically breaking away like what we tried to do in the beginning, you are breaking the country up because it's now painted different colors as you go through different states.
Right. For different
and
reasons.
You cannot have a president who thinks like that, because what they will do is continue to segregate everybody and make it seem like we have nothing in common. I still like Nikki Haley because I feel like she's always trying to bring us back to what do we have in common? If I say slavery, when that guy asked me that question, everybody in the South is going to go after me. How dare you say that Civil War was about slavery? It was about the North trying to cripple us and kill us. Did you put that in there, Nikki Haley? That's what they would have yelled at her about. They would have said the liberals are telling you to say slavery because it makes them seem like they're the heroes and makes us look like we're the old slave owners. And that they want to free everybody and make everybody do kumbaya, and we look like the old hicks in the South that want to keep black people in chains.
Interesting.
So you can't answer like that. You got to answer it different.
You get backlash either way.
You get backlash either way.
You say it if you don't.
Same thing with Gaza. If you say it wasn't just about that day when Hamas came over. Now Israel people that's Jewish. What are you trying to say? You trying to say we had our necks on Gaza and that we was doing stuff that was wrong? What are you trying to say?
You got to be careful how you say things even publicly regarding politics and land and control and leadership. But then you gotta, I guess, I don't know. That was another reason why people like Trump. As crazy as he is, Trump says what he feels. I don't like so-and-so. That's why we did it. Well, why you don't like? Because I don't like him.
Trump says,
I don't like you. It's like a dictator mindset.
This is why they like Trump. The difference between Trump, and I even hate to put their names in the same sentence.
Yeah.
And Abraham Lincoln.
Ooh.
If Trump was back then, he would say, I can't find any work because y'all got all these slaves working for free. Now, in the next few years, every white man will be just as poor. You might as well just go and put chains on us.
Oh.
Because we won't have nothing. We'll be poor. We won't have anything because y'all got all this free labor going on with these slaves. They compete against us. Put them on a boat and get them out of here. Send them back to Africa. Let free white man work for you.
You know what?
Pay them only a little bit. I'm not telling you to pay them a lot. But you had to pay for the slave's food, didn't you? You had to pay for his clothes. Give him what you was paying for to keep the slave alive. Put those black people on that boat and send them back to Africa.
He would say that.
If they want to come here, they need to come here like everybody else on a boat through Ellis Island.
You know what? That's unfair. Because they didn't wait. They didn't ask to come over the first time.
I agree.
How dare you send us back home when you brought us over here in the first place?
And that's not our home. Our home is here.
Yeah.
That's why he's
and
a bonehead.
What country would you go to when you keep saying go back?
But that's why he's a bonehead.
What country?
Why would
West
you
Africa.
send?
I'm from East Africa.
Why would you send somebody who was born here from immigrant people who crossed over illegally
from the other country?
Where you gonna send the kids?
Their babies were born here. Yeah.
And they've been here for like 20, 30 years. He wants to put them on a bus and send them to Mexico.
It don't matter. Because their moms came over here illegal and had them. So what? They were born here in a hospital, some of them. But no, all of them should go back.
And DeSantis, here's the other one. Don't teach the right thing. Teach what's supposed to. Keep everything vanilla.
Yes, we don't want them to know the truth.
We don't want everybody to know the truth. We don't want everybody to know
that'll cause confusion.
That this is a greedy country.
Angry. We don't want people being angry when they're learning history. We don't want people feeling like it's their fault.
Right.
Yes.
And then the militant black people don't want to hear nothing. When you talk about black people owning slaves and Africans owning slaves, and it's about money. It's always been about money. Even in Africa, it's been about money. Even when that movie came out, what's her name?
Which one?
The King woman or whatever that is. The Woman King.
The Woman King, yeah.
And the real tribe, she watered down that. The real tribe kept slavery going even after it was over.
They were making big money.
Because they was making money, but she didn't put that in the movie.
The love of money.
She didn't put it in the movie. It's washing down history.
It's the root of all.
So that's all I'm saying.
Love of money.
If you're going to teach history, teach all of it.
Yeah.
But as a politician, you cannot represent everybody if you, it's sad to say, you can't say everything on your mind.
Yeah.
You can't. I can think that woman looks stupid in that polka dot dress. As a politician, if a man comes up that's getting ready to give me a check for $1 million, how you like my wife's dress, sir? Your wife couldn't look more lovely.
I think, but then going back to the reasons why people like Trump. He'll say that dress is ugly, make her look fat. He'll say that
your
wife is fat.
Not if somebody getting ready to give him $1 million check.
Oh, he'll shut up then?
Yes.
Okay. So it's about money.
It's about money.
Now, if you get about what's the name's wife,
if you get in my line, he was running against him. If you walk up to Trump and you're not giving him anything, and you were supposed to give him $1 million check, you know what? I was going to give you that $1 million check, but I don't have it. You know what? Your wife's ugly, and that's an ugly dress. She looks like Magilla Gorilla.
What are you talking about, Trump? Well, in the back of his mind, you were going to give me some money. I don't like you.
You know what? Thanks for telling me my wife looks like Magilla Gorilla. Because I do have the check right here and I was going to give it to you. I wanted to see what you was going to do. Then he'll say, I was just joking.
Yeah. Can't you take a joke?
He goes back and forth.
Yeah, he does. I think something not right with his mind.
No, it's right with his mind. He knows money. So that's my thing with the Nikki Haley thing, y'all.
Yeah, she got
whether y'all agree or not.
Yeah. I think too, because of her race, saying that. Because they
and she's not white.
What more? Yeah, she
comes off as white. She's not.
Right.
If you look at every family picture, she's Indian.
You're right. Her background.
With head wraps and all. Mm-hmm. Now all of a sudden she looks like a white lady with jeans on talking about Civil War.
But that's what, other people may see her as. The white lady still, even though she has Indian background. Okay.
I don't know. That's how I feel.
Okay.
What do you think?
For what?
Just anything on that.
Well,
you was throwing it in. So.
I was throwing it in.
Mm-hmm. What do you think, Wendy? You was throwing in some stuff.
I don't have a very high opinion of Nikki Haley, anything she does. I have no respect for her.
Yeah.
I'm just not invested in her whatsoever. I don't see anything deep or heavy about her. I've never heard her say anything that I found to be profound. She
tells the line. She goes the line.
Yeah, she doesn't mean anything to me. I'm not impressed by her whatsoever.
Yeah. Would you rather have her or Trump?
You shouldn't delay on that answer. I don't know why you even waited.
I don't want Trump. I'd rather have the devil from hell than Trump. But,
you were given two options.
You got two options, Wendy.
Nikki Haley or Trump.
As a last resort, she's definitely better than Trump. But neither one of them can do anything for me.
All right. I agree.
Keep on stepping.
I agree. Emerald says, hey, ladies. Emerald is saying, hi, Wendy.
Hey, Em.
She said, yes, I did watch it, Lenore. What did you ask? Did somebody watch something?
That documentary.
Oh, okay.
And how deep rooted our country, our laws, our amendments are into slavery.
Slavery.
Yeah.
So the answer to that question is...
Did they really care about us?
No.
For the Civil War purpose, to fight for our rights and to be free?
No.
They want our money too. They want us to be taxed. They want us to, make money off of us as well.
Yeah, and like Wendy said...
I mean, maybe there's a little percentage of caring because they probably want they're jealous of the South. Stop having free labor.
Right. And like Wendy said, a part of it was they wanted us to fight.
Yeah.
Did y'all know that the South gave out guns during the Civil War to every house?
Yeah. I heard that.
And did you hear that those same guns were used during the time when the KKK rose up? Mm-hmm. They dragged us out of houses and stuff. They used those same guns. Mm-hmm. That's why everybody had one. Mm-hmm. But black people didn't. See, we won't repeat that history. That's why I believe we
still won't really be clear on the history of the police officers.
They talked about that. That was the history of the police.
What was the reason
to gather up slaves?
It was property. That property was gone and stolen. They got paid for that.
And they said a lot of slaves died after the Civil War because a lot of the Confederate soldiers went back and slaughtered them. They were mad. Mm-hmm. I'd rather have you dead than leave.
Right. And some slaves didn't leave. Because they felt like if they had masters that took care of them, where were they going to go?
Right. So there you go. But nobody wants to hear the true history. Everybody wants to just paint a rosy picture.
We need the good, bad, and ugly.
Layla says, TGIF, hey there, tell it like it is, women. Hey, Layla.
Hey.
All right, y'all. So that's my take on Nikki Haley. Mm-hmm. She always toes the line, and she always will. She's always going to do a safe answer.
Between her and DeSantis, though.
I still rather have Nikki Haley.
I don't want DeSantis.
Yeah.
I know what you're saying, Wendy. I get it.
He's worse.
I'm sorry. Ooh, that man will cut us up.
Yeah.
So.
All right. So that's Nikki Haley.
I know.